We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are recording today. We pay our respects to the elders past and present and the Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be here with us today.
Are you overwhelmed? Stuck in survival mode? Do you need to focus more on self and be selfish?
Hey beautiful people, it's Chloe and Steph, your hosts of the Selfish Podcast. Join us on our introspective journey as we explore alternative healing treatments.
We're on a mission to soothe our mind, body and soul. What really works? How can we get it together? And what do we need to thrive?
Through deep conversations and personal experiences, we tackle everything from face mapping to breathwork and more.
It's time to prioritise yourself and your well-being. Subscribe now and get ready to put yourself first with the Selfish Podcast.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello. Hi, Chloe. We're here.
We've made it, Steph.
Episode 1.
So excited to be here.
Me too.
How have you been?
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Pretty nervous, actually.
Nervous.
Like
yes.
that, butterfly feeling, about to do when you're about to present or something like that.
I thought you were about to say about to do a poo.
No, I don't feel nervous about that.
That's really
Maybe
funny.
after I gave birth, I was a little bit nervous about that, but...
Oh, yeah, totally. I feel you there. Do you know, nervous and excited are the same feeling in our stomachs.
Yeah, okay.
Many moons ago, a business coach told me this. And so now I just kind of try and flip it to be like, if I'm feeling nervous, I'm feeling excited because it feels the same and it just makes it seem less daunting.
Yeah, I like that. I also like to see like nerves as keeping me on my toes. So I think if you're going into something and you're, too calm, or not calm's not the right word, but I think if you don't have a little bit of that nervous energy, then, you're not going to be on your toes and you're not going to be...
You need a bit of
performing.
those nerves, don't you, to just like kind of tip you over the edge.
They're good nerves.
Yeah, good nerves.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now, Chloe, you said many moons ago, a
I
coach
did.
told you about this. Now, speaking of the moons, we've just come out of the full moon.
We have.
What else has been happening?
So last week, the full moon coincided with an eclipse in Scorpio, which was kind of quite deep, dark. Our dark shadows were kind of being brought up to the surface.
Yeah, I felt that.
Me too. It was pretty intense, actually. Yeah. So basically, eclipses kind of like take you back over the previous 6 months.
Okay.
So anything that's been a challenge to you will kind of come up.
Yeah, so I'm fucked.
So these next kind of little bit of time too. Yeah, me too. Damn it, more shit to uncover. So anything that's kind of been coming up over the previous 6 months could kind of come to a head. You can see like lots of changes, growth. So it's like not a scary time. It's just, it can kind of be like quite a deep time for self-development, I guess. Yeah. What else has been going on? There's also been a retrograde.
Now, what does
Mercury
this mean?
retrograde.
What does this mean? I hear all about the
I
retrogrades.
know,
And
it's always doom and gloom.
Yeah. I'm like, fuck me. What's going to happen now?
Totally. It's definitely not all doom and gloom.
Okay.
But we can be feeling quite heavy, slower. It's about basically kind of tuning into all of the re's. So you want to kind of reframe your thoughts. You want to reconsider different things that you've been doing. It's a time of reflection and reevaluation. So we are in this period until the 15th of May.
Okay.
Some things that may come up. Mercury rules communication and technology. So this is why you kind of hear often that like, watch out for travel, like, time frames and things like that. Like just add a bit of extra time to your travel.
Yeah. And if your computer's not working, just restart it. Turn it off.
Totally.
Turn it on.
There's another
Exactly. And don't restart. Actually, you want to shut down. So an IT guy told me this once at work. He said restarting is just like a power nap, but a shutdown is a full night's rest. So shut down that computer and turn it back on.
I love that. Yeah. I'm going to remember that. My issue is though, is then I forget my password. It's a real problem for me. I know there'll be some people laughing at me, knowing me too well that's a real issue. But anyway, so communication also can be misinterpreted during this period too. So just being really conscious of your words, like both verbal but also written, so emails as well. So just being, double checking things.
So maybe I won't send those 5 a.m. emails when I wake up.
No, or if you're really shitty and like something's gone like horribly wrong and you just want to punch out an email, maybe like sit on it, read it, delete it or reevaluate.
Rewrite it, another
We're doing good. We're doing good. So, yeah, that's kind of what's going on in the cosmos at the moment. And we've also entered the beautiful Taurian season.
And you're a Taurus baby.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thanks so much. So, yeah, it's kind of about grounding. We're about going slow, turning inward. Yeah.
So, now that we've covered the moons, I mean, we've made it to the recording studio. Do we just want to maybe just share with our listeners a little bit about us?
Sounds great. Let's dive in. I am here because I've got some things to share, I reckon. We both do. And a little bit about my backstory. I've got a company that is running. It's been running for 10 years. It's got some beautiful women working alongside me, and that has been such a beautiful journey, and I feel very blessed to have that part of me still going. There's also another part of me that's been
bubbling away.
Thank you. And I think it's part of like a creative kind of process, and sharing things that I do in my day-to-day life to hopefully make me a better person. So a couple of years ago, I guess I started on a journey of healing myself through many different modalities that we're going to jump into here on the podcast together. But yeah, I'm really excited to share our learnings together. And I guess one part of me that I've been diving into is that I'm so passionate about understanding myself on a deeper level, and that led me to last year studying astrology and human design.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so basically to give you, I'm just going to talk about myself right now, but I'm my type is a manifestor in human design, and so I'm here to initiate and be a little bit of a trailblazer. And then another thing that I really love about it is there's a profile component to it, which is like 3-5. That's my profile. And the 3 component is about trying and experiencing new things. It's a bit of a trial and error. So like nothing is meant to be seen as a failure for me. And then the 5th part in my profile is actually sharing my experiences with the world. And so when you pitched this to me, I was like, perfect opportunity to bloody like.
You're literally made for this. Maybe.
Let's see if hopefully it resonates with many of our beautiful friends out there. But yeah, that's me. Astrology wise, I'm a Taurus sun, a moon, a Gemini moon, and a rising Cancer. So we've got a bit of a crossover, you and I, Steph. I won't jump into it now. I think we can make another episode on
absolutely.
That. Yeah, but 2 little boys at home, live on the coast, and just so excited to be here with you.
Brilliant. Well, I'm a Cancer sun, a Sagittarius moon, and an Aries rising. So I have no clue what any of that means, other than the Cancer piece, because I think often we focus on that as sun, don't we?
We do.
And I don't know how many times I've texted my mum saying, "What exact time was I born?" And she's like, "What are you doing now?" So I would love though for us to get into that a little bit later. But I'm also I love the Chinese zodiac, so I'm a fire rabbit. But love all the different, bits and pieces. So I can help you explore that too, Chloe. I think you're a fire rabbit too.
Awesome. Is that the year?
Yes.
1987.
Yeah. So it's a year. So there's 12 different signs of the zodiac, similar to the other zodiac, and then you've got different elements that go along with it depending on where in the cycle it is. So in terms of me, my day job, I work for a global corporate. I work remotely from home and work all across the Asia Pacific region, which is good fun, keeps me busy. I'm a wife and a mum of 2 boys. I've got one boy who lives in this realm. He's just turned 9 months, and another one who lives in another realm. He would have just turned 2. And when Arthur died, my firstborn, how can life go on? How can you go on from that? Everything turned on its head, and to be honest with you, Chloe, like the last 2 years have just been completely fucked. I was, going through postpartum without my baby, working through the grief, plus the, active grieving, anger, and like so much anger. I've been rebuilding me. I've been rebuilding my life, my relationship with my husband, with family, friends, the universe. How could they let this happen to me? And also the identity as a mother, but without a living child. A big part of this has been trying to restore my nervous system as well, and working through the trauma that the body holds. And to not only work through losing my baby, but then trying to conceive, because I was desperate, my body was desperate for my baby. So then, working through that, then going through a second pregnancy in quick succession, now mothering my living child as well as parenting Arthur on his own journey. To get through all of that, I've been going through so many different modes of healing. I've got, the traditional Western. I had a core team of massage, restorative yoga. I have my psychologist, my psychiatrist, Pilates, naturopath, sound baths. I then added in acupuncture, Reiki, psychic, all sorts of stuff.
And there's much goodness.
Yeah, still so many other things that I want to explore. And to be honest, it feels like a full-time job at times, but I do notice that when I'm not doing this stuff, it's really hard for me to cope and to deal with things, and just to sort of unpack the layers of the onion that I really have around everything that's happened in the last 2 years. So, I really want to share what I've learned. And I think podcasting is a great medium for that. I'll speak from my own experiences, not on behalf of anyone else or anyone else's experiences. But, I was pushed to get into this space. I was pushed to work on myself. And, you don't have to have a big traumatic life event to actually work on yourself and to be selfish and to take care of yourself. Totally. So, I hope that all of our listeners out there can get something from this and maybe, gain some insights and maybe try out some of this stuff themselves, because, life is messy. Everyone's fucked up. And that's actually one thing I've learned through this experience, is the more that I work on myself, the more I go, what the fuck is wrong with everyone else?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, no, maybe I think I go introspective first and I think I'm pretty fucked up. And I've got
I know I am too. Oh, yeah, I own that part.
We both own it.
Yeah.
We both own our own shit.
Yeah.
Which I think is really great. And once, having that ability to self-reflect and kind of go do you know what? This is my shit. I can only change myself. I can better myself. I think that if we can all work on our own selves, we're going to create such an amazing community of people, and live in a place of love and compassion for all.
Yeah, absolutely. And selfish isn't a dirty word. What do they say in the aircraft? Put your own oxygen mask on before you put anyone else's on.
Put it on first.
Yeah, put that oxygen mask on, everyone.
Put yourself first.
Exactly, put yourself first, because if you're... And I think, one thing that we discussed when, we've been working through the podcast and what we're going to talk about is this whole concept of intergenerational trauma. And I don't think we need to go into it too much detail today, but I think we need an episode on it, because,
absolutely,
one thing I'm cognizant of is I don't want to pass this shit on to my living children.
Hell no.
Yeah, and I don't want it to become their issue because of what I've had going on in my life.
We're here to break the cycle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are. Got to break it down.
Got to break it.
Now, once we decided to do this, and we are both, what I'm discovering these last few weeks of us working together in this capacity is that neither of us do things by halves. When we're going to do something, we're going to do something.
Fuck no. We've got our shit together pretty darn quick, I'd say.
We have. And as soon as we decided to do it, all I saw was duplicate numbers. I saw 1111 on my phone. I think I texted you every single time I saw it. I saw it in the AM, in the PM, 4 days in a row. On my odometer when we were driving away somewhere on the weekend, it was 1111 kilometres until you got to fill up fuel again. It was 2222. What does that mean, Chloe? I'm saying this is a good sign, yeah?
I even spotted something in here before. 77. I was like, fuck, walked in here. It's these numbers are just staring at us. Okay, so I do have some information for you on recurring numbers, and it's all good. So they actually all have their own meanings, but let's just talk through a couple. So the 222 Have you been seeing 222?
I've been seeing all of them.
Me too. Like
Yeah,
every
me too.
frickin-
222. Even I saw 2222. Like it doesn't matter. I'll wake up in the middle of the night, look at my phone,
and it will be on,
and it will be reoccurring numbers.
22.
Yeah.
So if it's 222, it's like about seeking balance, trusting the universe.
Okay.
And everything is happening around us, for us, with us. And we're kind of on our purpose.
Okay.
So
This is good.
most of these recurring numbers are actually meaning that we're being guided.
Okay.
And that we're, our higher selves, or, whatever we want to think about, that bigger thing that's bigger than us, around us, is guiding us and supporting us on our journey. So I think that this podcast is just meant to be.
I love that. I love that. And I agree, because I think things have also just moved so beautifully and just fluidly, and it's like, bang, 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 it's all coming to be. Okay, so Chloe, I see a deck of cards over there. It's pretty thick though. Looks like more than a standard 52. What's this about?
I've got a beautiful deck of tarot cards in my hot little hands here. They feel good.
They look good.
Super shiny. So what we were thinking is that for each of our episodes, we will set an intention. So we'll pull a card, and that will be our intention for the episode.
Perfect.
For our first episode, we are going to draw 3 cards.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. Just to give us a little bit more depth. And basically, we draw these cards because it's kind of drawing upon the greater beings, guides, angels, whatever you want to call that thing that is bigger than us, tapping into them and their guidance.
So who's pulling, you or me?
How about you, Paul?
Okay, so we've shuffled them.
Shuffle them or shuffle.
Okay.
You can hold your hand over.
Like, I feel like I just want to pull out the ones on the top, or should I just put a bit more thought into it? Just like hold my hands.
Well, sometimes you can tap the cards.
Okay.
Give them a little
tap. Taparoo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to put your energy into the cards.
Okay.
And then, sometimes you might feel like you want to pick the top card, or you might just want to give it a shuffle and pick one from the middle.
Gotcha.
It's really what you are intuitively guided towards.
Okay. And do you want me to do all 3 at once, or just one at a time?
Do one at a time.
Okay. All right.
Oh, first one. Beautiful. We've got a gorgeous woman, long blonde hair, surrounded by some fruits of some kind. We've got the Empress.
Sounds good.
Sounds great, doesn't it? The Empress is all about creation and femininity. And so perfect for us. Business, art, self-expression, nurturing, and abundance.
Love it.
Amazing. Perfect for our podcast. All right, let's go for the next one.
Okay.
Oh, this one's
What
a bit
is it?
different.
What does this one mean?
We have got the Judgment card. This is really interesting. We've got like a feminine card and a masculine card. So judgments can be a bit scary, I guess.
You can judge something positively.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that we can think of it in a positive light. And in this instance with the card, it's about resurrection and awakening and embracing higher levels of consciousness.
Yeah, wow.
So that's kind of cool. We're starting something new. We're embracing something new and different, and potentially closing off things that were
and not serving us.
Past selves.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant.
Okay, third and final.
Do you want to pull this one?
Oh, okay. I've got the 8 of Wands. Okay, so the other 2 were actually from the major, I think it's Arnica.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Anyway, these are from the minor. So there's the other cards are the, I guess, lesser. Not that we want to say that they're lesser. That's a shit word. Sorry. But I haven't got something coming to me.
They're more major. These are...
The other ones are major.
Yeah.
This one is just like more subtle.
Yep.
And so this one means, let me have a little look, see here, action, quick progress.
Oh.
Ooh. So
these are spot on.
Yeah, motivation and impact.
Yep.
So awesome. So we've got Empress, Judgment, and 8 of Wands.
Awesome. So how can people get their hands on these cards or similar?
Well, this deck here is the Dreamy Moons, and I just actually purchased them online, so we could link that in the show notes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're really stunning.
And when choosing like a deck of cards, or the oracle cards or the angel cards, are there any? Is it sort of just like what feels right, or are there any good beginners ones, or how does that work?
Well, I think maybe I started with oracle cards. So rather than the tarot, because they've got the major and the minor. So maybe the oracle would be the place to start.
Okay.
But I mean,
The gateway drug into the
gateway drug. Maybe go that first. But anyway, you can, dabble in it all. They all have really beautiful books in them that kind of explain everything and give you a really clear overview of how to use the cards.
Yeah, okay.
So it's really beautiful.
Awesome. And when do you use them? Is this something you do every day or,
Not always. I think sometimes I'm just drawn to it on a specific day. It may be not every day. I don't pull them every day. It just might be maybe if I'm feeling a bit shit or something's happening that day and I'm wanting to set an intention for the day.
Awesome. Okay.
I'll pull a card.
Yeah. And do you cleanse them with the full moon like you would crystals or?
Yeah, I'm a tapper.
Okay.
So I actually have put my energy into the cards like when I first bought them.
Yep.
So I did.
Is that like seasoning your frying pan?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like putting, just, I don't know, rub them on myself. No, I didn't really do that.
in the bath of the full moon, you're just like rubbing these cards like naked out the front of your house.
Yeah, full moon every time.
We might need to start an OnlyFans for the podcast.
Make some extra cash on the side. No, but everyone will use them differently.
Yeah.
But I think they're just a beautiful way to tap into those other things that are around us.
Yeah, but on that note around you putting your energy, like I wouldn't use your cards, I would have my own.
No, not necessarily. I would just have you tap, like knock on them or something
Gotcha.
before, or hold them and just like, put your energy or
into
think
them.
about them.
Yeah. And that's what I was doing before, I suppose, when I had my hands over the cards.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm allowing you in.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think
pleasure.
we pulled some good ones.
We have.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Now, before we dive into the first review of Reiki, just wanted to mention to all of our listeners out there that we are deliberately not mentioning any of the practitioners by name. We want to make sure that we can give you our honest review. We want to make sure that, we're not, worried about, upsetting anyone. We want to make sure that we're being really true to ourselves. Also just want to mention that, every experience is our own. So just because we feel something doesn't mean that others will as well. But you know what? You're always welcome to slide on into our DMs. On Instagram, we're at the.self.ish. We can share the names of the practitioners if you would like more information or if you have any further questions. Please do let us know because we're more than happy to, share what we've learnt.
All right, let's move into our modality for our first
the purpose
episode.
of this podcast.
The purpose. We're here. We made it. Thanks for sticking about. If you're still with us, I hope you are. So, Steph.
Yes, Chloe.
Reiki.
Yes.
This is something that you have experienced. I myself have never.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can you share with us about your experience with Reiki?
Yeah, absolutely. So into this Reiki space very recently. And it was actually just because I heard about this practitioner in the area and I thought, you know what, I've heard about Reiki, I've never done it, let's give it a go.
Beautiful.
But what it actually is, for those out there who are like, I don't even know how to spell that. Well, it's spelled Reiki. It's often described as a universal life energy or spiritual energy, and it's accessed by the practitioner during the treatment. It is all around enhancing the body's natural healing abilities. It is about promoting well-being, and it is a very sort of personal experience.
Beautiful.
Between you and that practitioner.
Okay.
It is Japanese, been around for centuries, and often known as giving white light.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So being bathed in white light.
Essentially. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
So I sort of heard about this. I thought that I've been doing a lot of different types of therapies, traditional and holistic, and I just felt like my body needed some work and some some time just to move things on. It was just, my son's second birthday without him being here. And I just seen a psychic, which we can talk about in another episode. And I felt like I'd been processing a lot of things. And I was like, okay, I need to shed some of that weight and some of the stuff that my body's holding on to. I particularly felt really tight in my throat.
Interesting.
And I also feel like this is helping that throat chakra.
Absolutely.
And so I sort of had quite a, I knew that I was ready, and I was ready to take some action. So, I found this practitioner, and we'll touch on that a little bit later in terms of how you can find a reputable Reiki practitioner. It was at their house, and I've got to be frank with you, I'm not always sure how I feel about home studios.
I understand that. Yeah.
Sometimes like going into someone else's space, and because it's not just their space for doing their own work, it's also their home life and all of that energy that comes with it. And I've seen a lot of setups, usually with that holistic / Eastern medicine, where people are in their home. And I had a few experiences like early on after the loss where I was at their house and I could hear their child crying, and I was just like, okay, I'm out, like get me out of here. Like it didn't feel safe. It didn't feel like a safe space, and I need a safe space. So anyway, this was completely different, and it was incredibly well done.
Beautiful.
Went into the space. It was so welcoming. There was, some armchairs in each of the corners, which sort of gave it a nice homey vibe. And then there was the table in the middle of the room in a beautiful, am I going into too much detail? You tell me.
No, I love it.
With like a rust towel on it, and I love that rust. Such an autumnal,
just deeply nourishing colour.
Yeah. And I was actually wearing like a rusty kind of terracotta top, so meant to be for sure. And sort of, ran in with my keys and my water bottle and all that kind of stuff in one hand, and sat down and before the treatment started had a bit of a chat with the practitioner about what I was wanting to achieve from this and what I wanted them to focus on.
Beautiful. Amazing. So then I'm guessing because she had the bed there, you laid down on the bed.
Yep.
And then...
So they took me to the bed. They already mentioned to wear loose clothing or just comfortable clothing. Yeah. Comfortable clothing. I think I came in my jeans because I was coming straight from a work meeting or something.
Yeah.
And I was sort of thinking, are they going to touch me? Are they not? They sort of explained that, whatever I'm comfortable with. So it doesn't have to be a touch, but it's often a hand hovering over you to provide you with that universal energy.
Wow.
So before we got started,
yeah.
The practitioner sort of said, "Oh, do you want to do some almost like a saging, but like just to clear the energy around the room?" Which we did, which was beautiful. Then had a bit of a sound bath, which was also magnificent. Yeah. And then she started working from my head downwards, and I actually didn't know where they were standing at this point in time.
Wow.
Because there were no hands on me, but I felt this intense tingling in my head.
Yeah.
And my mind was sort of like, where are they? Where are they? What's going on? What's going on? Am I going to feel anything? Am I not?
Like pins and needles?
It was like pins and needles. It was like one of those those
head massage
things.
Masseuse
yeah.
things.
It was really quite intense, and it sort of felt a little bit tingly, I suppose. And
a good tingling?
A good tingling. Yeah, a good tingling. And it then sort of went through my body. So it started with the tingles, then it went to a bit more of a heat. So it felt hot, worked through my throat, worked through my shoulders. And, as she was going down my body, I did feel different sensations. At times she would touch me lightly. At other times it was just sort of holding that hand over me. And my mind was sort of racing the whole time, going, oh, where are they? Where are they? What's going on? But, I kept on trying to go back to breath because, I think that it's important that you just try and stay in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell all those thoughts to just fuck off for a little bit. So as she made her way down, when she went to my sort of sacral space, so for those who are not familiar with all of the different chakras, it's sort of the space between your hips. It felt like there was a vortex that was spinning and opening up, and she spent a lot of time there.
Okay. Do you know where her hands? Obviously you have your eyes closed, but Do you think that she had her hands like over that space?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
It felt like a
wow.
vortex was opening up. And so I don't know if that was like my
crazy.
C-section scar or my uterus or,
Yeah.
you know, just that whole area of my body.
Well, we hold so much trauma as females down in that area, that region. So it could be, you know, obviously you've been through a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
And so potentially it's releasing that.
Yeah.
Or starting to, you know, this is an ongoing journey too, isn't it? As we've both realised along our paths.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That it's not a once-off either.
Oh, no. And often the more you do, it's like opening Pandora's box. It's just a never-ending, you know, work.
Story. Work.
Yeah. So, she spent a lot of time on my hips around that area and then sort of went down to my feet. And one of my, like, she was working on my right foot, it was, and I felt like a jolt. I was like,
wow.
in the heel of my right foot. So it was amazing.
Insane.
And then we went on to the left foot and I felt sort of like a bit of a popping sensation. And after the session, I was sort of chatting to her about it, and she mentioned that she could also she felt that jolt as well.
How crazy is that?
It was,
but this is, she is not putting her hands, or only
sometimes
very lightly.
Sometimes she was, very, very lightly.
It is insane.
Yeah. It is.
But we are all energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
absolutely.
It makes sense, hey?
Yeah. And afterwards, like when I was still lying on the table and she'd finished, I just felt like I was white. Like I was sort of imagining myself just as this white being lying on the table. It was really magical and like intense relaxation afterwards.
Did she speak to you throughout?
So she did ask me if I wanted to chat with her during the session. I didn't, because I just wanted to just focus on my
body,
breath, my body, try and feel what I could feel.
Yeah.
But absolutely. So she sort of said, do you want me to touch you or not? Do you want me to talk or not? And I just said, for this session, let's just not chat.
Yeah.
Let's
just get into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And we did have a bit of a debrief afterwards because I sort of wanted to share some of the stuff that I'd felt. And she sort of said that she could tell that my energy was ready to move.
Wow.
Yeah, because sometimes it can be sticky.
Yeah,
sometimes it can be sticky, but she said no, it was definitely ready to move.
Yeah. And so you felt that the energy moved from your head down to your feet in that kind of like a grounding sense, maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that was the word, because we did do a bit of a debrief because I was just like wanting to share everything.
Yeah.
And also understand, you know, what they felt.
Yeah.
And I
what
was
she
sort of,
does.
Yeah, exactly. And so she was saying that often she can feel it, but it really depends on the type of energy that it is. So not always would her and I be feeling the same thing, or, you know, you and the practitioner be feeling the same thing, but often, you know, you can. Yeah. And one other thing I said was, you know, how are you protecting yourself? Because what's like, you're doing so much.
Yeah, well, she's holding her own energy, right? But then she's also holding yours too.
Yeah, well, actually, she's not holding her energy. So when I was chatting to her about it, she sort of said that Reiki is this universal energy that you channel through you. So it's
she channeled it through her or you?
Yeah, so she channels that universal energy through her.
Wow.
So it's almost like plugging into an outlet and turning on the electricity. And then the electricity comes through her. So she said she did have, you know, she's got practices for before and after the session, and, you know,
protect herself.
Yeah, and sort of cleansing that space so you don't have the next person's energy in there.
You don't have like the dregs of someone else.
Exactly. we don't want any, you know, I've got enough of my own shit to deal with. Totally. I don't need to deal with someone else's as well.
We don't want anyone else's.
Yeah, so quite interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
So fascinating. It's definitely made me want to try it.
Yeah.
So I give it a crack.
I did it again. About a week later.
Oh, wow.
And because I said to her, like, how often should I be doing this? And she said, ideally, you know, 3 times. Ideally. But again, it depends. Everyone's different, and you can have this conversation, and also you know what you're feeling yourself. But it's better to have it closer together, because if you don't, the energy patterns go back to the way they were. So it's almost better to do it sooner rather than later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Wow.
Yeah. So when I had it again,
Yeah.
like my mind was so much quieter. I found it a lot easier to sort of be in that space, because it can be a little bit daunting, you know, being on your own in a room, lying down, having to be stuck in your own thoughts. But I really didn't have many thoughts. It was super grounding.
Beautiful.
And I felt like I actually had a bit of a past life experience as well in that second session.
Really?
Yeah. So I was
Tell us about it.
I was lying down, and I pictured me as like a corpse lying on the table, but it was in a beautiful way. Like, it wasn't a scary
course.
thing, as you know. And she had long black hair. I don't know if it was me or not, but then talking to the practitioner afterwards, she said that could have been past life coming through, which can happen. Like long black hair, super high cheekbones, like really beautiful cheekbones, and would have been a fair bit older.
Yeah.
But for me, it sort of was comforting.
Yeah,
in a
someone
strange
else
way.
coming through. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I'm not really sure. So yeah,
and it might come out over time too. Hey, like sometimes we go and do these things and we don't know what it all means at the time, but then as time passes, it makes sense, and
Absolutely.
there's like a synchronicity that falls into place, and you kind of go like, oh wow, maybe it was that.
And I'm going to go back a third time, so we'll see. Maybe, like, who knows? As you said, you don't know what could come through.
No, beautiful. And did you have so we've talked about what it was like during the sessions. Was there any feelings or anything surprising that happened after? So once you left her home, was there any kind of things that happened for you afterwards within your body, or was it mainly whilst you were in with her?
So it was definitely while I was in there, but afterwards, as I said, I felt this intense relaxation. I then got pulled into a really messy work situation, which was brilliant, but that was fine.
You were super grounded, so you're ready for that.
I was very grounded, Would have been nice if it didn't happen that day, but this is life. And I just peed a lot, a lot. And I've been having, my body's really been wanting to hold on to weight, and I found that I actually lost a few kilos afterwards, a lot easier.
Yes.
So I felt lighter, not just actually lighter.
No, yeah.
But I felt lighter.
Your being felt lighter.
Absolutely.
In many facets.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I felt a lot lighter, and it just felt like,
a release.
A release.
Amazing. What an experience.
Oh, it was,
Amazing.
Highly, highly recommend.
So where can we find other amazing practitioners? Obviously we've got ours down here, but for those listening abroad, is there anywhere where we can find great Reiki practitioners?
Yeah, so ideally word of mouth.
Yeah,
and I think that's with everything. Word of mouth is always the way. But there are a few other places that you can go. So often, your yoga studio or masseuse or anyone else who's sort of playing in this holistic space or alternative space, may have connections. So absolutely you could ask them. If you don't have any of these people in your life or around you, you can go to your, local alternative store, like a crystal store or something like that. They will often know of people. There's also a great website, Reiki Australia, if you're based in Australia, and if not, there'd be an equivalent. And that's sort of like the industry body, I suppose, for practitioners, and you can find practitioners through there. But one thing, to look out for, because you want to make sure that you're seeing someone who's reputable, is there are multiple styles of Reiki. So Usui Reiki is sort of like the traditional Reiki. So if you have found someone, you can sort of ask them a little bit about their practice.
Great.
You can also question the lineage of their training. So everyone is trained by a master, so you can sort of ask a few questions around that qualification. Often they'll need to have a specific certificate of training for insurance purposes, so you can ask them a little bit about their insurance.
Yeah.
But also it's really important, especially, COVID, we were all locked up in our houses. A lot of people did Reiki training online, which is not ideal because it's not something that you can learn online. So, the recommendation would actually be to go to a practitioner who has learnt in person.
Of course.
But we can share all of the resources that we have in our show notes. And Chloe, you should absolutely give it a go.
I'm going to give it a go. I can't wait.
Yeah. In terms of cost, around, $80 to $120 per session.
Yeah, okay.
But, that will vary.
Can you get that rebated, I wonder?
I'm not sure. I think, your health fund may. I think I need to change mine because they don't do much for me.
Me either.
Yeah, but absolutely that could be something that you can look out for.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to book in.
You absolutely should. You can also do it online. So they can.
I was thinking about this.
Yeah. So you can have, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. One is called absent healing, which is when you can So I'm not at the physical place. So I might not be able to make my Reiki session, and they can actually do absent healing on you from where they are. Because it's this universal energy. It's not like I've got
tapping in.
Yeah, it's tapping into that, tapping into you. So that can be done. It can also be done to past, present, future self. So this is, the deeper I dive into all of this stuff, the more it's sort of like everything, everywhere, all at once is happening.
Yes, time is not a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh. Exactly. What is time? So that can be done. But yeah, it can also be done online with, over Zoom or something. You don't need to physically be there, which I think is pretty cool.
It's super fascinating.
Yeah.
So fascinating. But it makes sense because we are all energy.
Absolutely. So, yeah, absolutely. And as the practitioner described to me, we are, through Reiki, it raises the frequency of cells. It helps them to go into homeostasis and it allows them to heal themselves. And through that universal energy, I said quite efficient actually. I could be on a work call.
Bloody love it. She could be tapping into you and you'd just be like grounding down.
Exactly. And while you're there,
a better person.
I need you to go back to last month before.
Fix the past self and the future.
Exactly. Fix everything, okay? You're on a retainer.
That's right. Exactly. Bloody love it. Oh, awesome. All right. Well, what's up for us next week?
What is going on next week? Well, I've got acupuncture next week. Chloe, what about you?
I am actually going back for my next session of craniosacral therapy.
Oh, goodness. It's quite a mouthful.
Have you heard of that?
I've actually done it before.
Oh.
Ages ago. Yeah.
Well, we'll be able to have a nice little chit-chat about that, won't we?
I very much look forward to hearing about that.
Dive into that next week. And but yeah, not much else this week. Just got a dinner tonight.
Lovely.
Bit of wine.
Nice.
Maybe a margarita.
Oh, I do love a margarita. Spicy margarita for me. Yeah.
Bring it on, baby.
I love it.
And you? Other than
my acupuncture, a pretty chilled weekend, actually.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there were quite a few, things happening, but I just feel like, I've just recently returned to work. So just wanting to, when I don't have to do that, just to chill a little bit. Got some Vanderpump Rules to catch up on, a bit of Succession. Important things in life.
So important. Got to do it.
Absolutely.
Got to work on yourself.
Do. Sure do.
All right.
Do.
Well, do we want to finish up with a little bit of a meditation?
I would love that.
Yeah. All right. We're going to do super quick. We're going to do a deep breath in through our nose and out through the mouth. Now I want you to make your breath out longer than your breath in. So in and out. Beautiful. Thank you, beautiful people, for joining us on today's first episode. I think we nailed it.
I hope so, yeah. We did. We totally did, yeah.
Can't wait to see you next week.
Can't wait to see you. See you guys.
Bye. Thanks for joining us, beautiful people. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Now, we're just a small grassroots podcast trying to do big things, and we would really appreciate your support. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, give us a rating and a review, and if you liked this show, please share it with a friend and tell them to have a listen.
You can also connect with us on our Instagram
@the.selfishpod.
We can't wait to see you next week. In the meantime, get out there, put yourself first, and be selfish.